It was reported that you claimed artificial intelligence to be more deadly than nuclear weapons. As I mentioned earlier, the possibilities are endless. You compare it to calling forth the devil. How can artificial intelligence, deep learning in particular, which is undoubtedly crucial for self-driving cars, and other factors be reconciled? How can you rationalize that? I don't think autonomous vehicles should be a concern because they represent a limited use of AI and are not particularly challenging. It's actually far easier, in my opinion, than people realize to achieve autonomous driving to a level that's far safer than a human. Elon Musk, the Tony Stark of our day without the Iron Man costume, is our first choice. Musk concludes that the automobile industry, with its storied history of requiring humans to operate the vehicles, is too banal. So he rolls up his sleeves and starts building Tesla, a corporation that upgrades automobiles while you sleep in addition to providing electrical power. Imagine discovering your car has learned new skills over the night. It's similar like having a pet, except that it doesn't urinate on your carpet, and you don't have to walk it. Now, Elon doesn't drive a typical Joe automobile. Through frequent internet brain transplants, these cars receive features you never knew you wanted. Like your car asking, "Hey, what just happened?" Every few months, you're just standing there in awe at its downward dog, thinking, "Now I can do yoga." Let's move on to Elon's futuristic vision of autonomous driving, where he sees it becoming as commonplace as using a lift, and manual automobile driving becoming as antiquated as using a rotary phone. When lifts had operators, do you recall those days? Not me either, but what if we did, and one day they simply disappeared and lifts could be activated at the touch of a button? Elon thinks that's how automobiles will be in the future because, in his opinion, the only thing scarier than an AI operating your vehicle is you doing it yourself. Elon predicts that operating an automobile by hand will be viewed as extremely risky in the future, comparable to juggling chainsaws on a unicycle. It's possible that automobiles may become so safe that they won't even require the bulky armor that they do now. It's akin to claiming that our cars will behave so well in the future that they won't require protective vests when they go grocery shopping. About 100 million cars and trucks can be produced annually. Therefore, assuming the fleet remained the same size, it would take 20 years to replace the fleet if all cars were autonomous tomorrow. It might get smaller if everything is autonomous, but even so, it would take a while, perhaps 15 years or more, and nothing would change right away. It will require some time. There's a catch, though. It will take time to make the switch to this ideal fleet of courteous, self-driving electric vehicles. Musk believes it could take 15 to 20 years to replace all of the world's roughly 2 billion legacy cars with autonomous ones. It's like trying to replace every horse at the turn of the 20th century with a motor, only with more software upgrades and fewer bundles of hay. Before you can continuously uploading new software, you sort of need the hardware base, that is, the sensor and computing foundation. With a Tesla, at least you always have connectivity. You will therefore see that the features on your car are getting better with time. Since we now have active cruise control, the vehicle in front of you will be tracked using a combination of radar and camera data. It assumes that the car's brake lights are on because it is also observing the brake lights. Even with the existing hardware package, it will essentially get smarter and smarter. Elon Musk talks about automobiles that are smarter than the average bear, or smartphone for that matter, in his mission to make our banal driving experiences a sci-fi reality. He introduces us to active cruise control, which is a high-tech radar and camera fusion system that works more like a psychic to predict when the car in front of you is going to stop because someone spilled their coffee, rather than the kind where your car follows the car in front of it aimlessly like a lost puppy. But there's still more. Musk aspires for your car to be omniscient, not just clairvoyant. Full autonomy requires a larger sensor suite and enough processing power to make your laptop feel like a calculator from the 1990s, especially in those excruciatingly unpredictable metropolitan jungles. It's similar to fastening a utility belt from a superhero to your automobile, only with radars and AI brains in place of grappling hooks and other tools. That's when it gets tricky. In an urban setting at speeds of 30 to 40 miles per hour, Dealing with objects that are moving at speeds between 5 and 10 miles per hour is currently rather simple thanks to the ultrasonics. We just make sure it doesn't strike anything, which is generally the correct thing to do because you wouldn't want your car to hit anything. You can therefore stop within the ultrasonics range at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then, in complex suburban contexts, you can get a lot of unexpected things happening between, say, 10 miles per hour and 50 miles per hour. Let us now explore the difficulties and mystical resolutions in the fascinating realm of self-driving cars. We start by discussing those jaw-dropping rush-hour traffic situations where vehicles are moving at glacial to snail-paced speeds. Musk suggests utilizing ultrasonics to prevent your car from becoming overly intimate with the car in front of it, not as a high-tech spa treatment. It functions something like angry beeping personal space bubbles for your car. The real fun, meanwhile, starts at the suburban obstacle course, where everything that can possibly go wrong, from kids chasing balls to death-wishful squirrels to cyclists believing they're in the Tour de France, comes at your automobile. Musk's solution is a car brain that combines the powers of a supercomputer and a psychic medium, enabling it to see into the future and make snap decisions with the coolness of a Zen master. Not only must one avoid impediments, but also anticipate suburban turmoil and move through it with the grace of a ballet dancer. Regulators will presumably wait at least 2 or 3 years after a car becomes demonstrably safer than a human before permitting such a claim to be made, as they all require substantial statistical evidence demonstrating the car's superior safety over a human being. Basically, what you can do, in my opinion, is to run it in shadow mode and declare, "This is how the computer would have behaved under all of these conditions. Did something crash or not? What do false negatives and false positives mean?" After that, amass a sizable population group and present the regulators with a convincing statistical case. They'll process that, watch it for a time, and if the evidence is strong enough, they will eventually come to that conclusion. Now imagine this: government laws stand in Elon Musk's way as he continues to push us towards an idealized future in which automobiles drive themselves and people are free to quarrel over the aux cord. However, it's more about persuading the authorities with the allure of hard, cold statistics than it is about capes and supervillains. Musk intends to use self-driving cars in shadow mode, which is essentially just the vehicles feigning to drive themselves in order to gather data. This sounds like a covert espionage operation, gathering all the facts required to convince authorities that, sure, these robotic chauffeurs are safer than humans who get sidetracked by anything from billboards to butterflies is like having a ghost driver who's incredibly adept at not crashing. In my opinion, there is a case to be made for exercising extreme caution and ensuring everything is in order before making any changes with regard to public safety. It isn't true, in my opinion, that authorities aren't approving a fully autonomous system at the moment. However, that will change in a few years. This is where things get spicier. Musk and Tesla steer clear of hurried legislation that would impede the promising future of autonomous driving as they negotiate the perilous waters of innovation. It would be similar to telling a friend who is overly careful not to go for a walk while wearing a helmet and elbow pads. Although self-driving technology isn't yet ready to eliminate humanity, Tesla is setting up a software storm by making significant investments in the kind of engineering magic that can enhance your car while you're asleep. We're talking about transforming your car into a stylish, autonomous robot that can learn new skills and develop like a character in a video game. Such an automobile would be amazing to have, wouldn't it? This certainly gives you a bullish feeling about Tesla. Would you be willing to invest in the company? But who else is as optimistic about Tesla as you are? That would be Seeking Alpha, our sponsor for today. It's not enough to merely watch Tesla's phenomenal rise from the sidelines. Seeking Alpha is your one-stop shop for the most recent information on Tesla, Tesla stock price targets, Tesla innovation, and everything Elon Musk related for fans of the company and those who have an eye for finding the next big stock market find. Avoid the mainstream media's negative commentary about Tesla. The internet's top pro-Tesla news outlet is Seeking Alpha. Our channel might receive a commission if you click on the affiliate links in the description and make a purchase. I appreciate your help. When we initially assembled our first Tesla together, we believe the Tegra to be more than sufficient. And you recently asked, is there any way we can get that platform to perform better? It simply so happened. After installing multiple software upgrades for literally 2 years, the computer platform is now inadequate in power. Am I right? You want to add new features, which is why. These days, a lot of functions rely on software. Have you ever noticed how Tesla functions almost like a smartphone for cars? One night, you go to bed, and the next morning, your car has suddenly become wiser than it was the night before. We're talking about full-on software evolution here, turning your Tesla from a simple car into a rolling work of futuristic tech marvel. This isn't your typical oil change or tire rotation. Thanks to Wi-Fi wizardry, it's like your automobile goes to the gym and picks up a new language overnight. What are some possible ways to strengthen the vehicle's defenses against cyber attacks? That, in my opinion, becomes crucial when the vehicles are completely driverless. Every system in an automobile is currently designed with the assumption that it could malfunction mechanically or logically. That is, that there would be a basic logic failure. As a result, you can always overpower the car's brakes with your foot and its steering with your hands. But in many years, it gets extremely really unsafe when there's no brake pedal or steering wheel. However, even at this moment, the majority of our efforts are focused on ensuring that a multi-car hack is exceedingly challenging to execute. However, enormous power also carries a great deal of responsibility, or in this case, security risk. As our automobiles become increasingly intelligent on their own, the last thing we want is for a hacker to take control. Musk has come up with a solution to this contemporary problem. Layers upon layers of digital armor that prevent even the most crafty hackers from tampering with the essentials, such as your automobile performing donuts in the parking lot of the grocery store without your permission. This technology combines cybersecurity and Mission Impossible to make your Tesla as safe as Fort Knox, but with more efficient fuel consumption. We're going to invest a lot of resources in autonomous driving as it will become the norm. Furthermore, it might save many lives. Let's go on to the Autonomous Driving Heroes trip. It's about saving lives, not just lounging back and letting your automobile do the morning commute. Musk imagines a future in which cars serve as guardian angels on wheels, armed with AI so intelligent and sophisticated that it might maybe compose poetry in its spare time thanks to NVIDIA's deep learning magic. Making driving not simply safer but also a joyful experience is the aim. Envision a road trip in which your car does all the work, leaving you to relax and take in the sights or, catch up on your Netflix queue. It will be heavily centered on deep learning. You understand the significance of deep learning for us and the tools we plan to develop so that we can jointly create the future. Deep learning is crucial. I started by introducing Titan X, the fastest GPU in the world. I presented the GPU Deep Learning Platform, DIGITS DevBox, so that data scientists could plug it in and start working right away. Pascal's speed will be 10 times that of Maxwell's. The piece de resistance is finally here. Musk unveils 4 innovative innovations that seem like they belong in a science fiction blockbuster. There's the Titan X, a deep learning platform that seems like the perfect getaway for a supercomputer, and a GPU so quick it could practically run the Matrix. The Pascal architecture, on the other hand, promises a performance boost equivalent to attaching a rocket to your computer. Not to be overlooked is the NVIDIA Drive PX, which may be the most intelligent item you've ever had in your garage. When combined, they will propel autonomous driving into a field that was previously exclusive to tech enthusiasts and science fiction authors.